lunch, so we're happy. And oh, I'm so excited. So up next we have an activity with Teresa to set the stage for connection, networking for your confident and visible self. So Teresa, I welcome you to walk the red carpet into the visibility circle. Sashay, sashay, all right, please. So, supporting women in networking is a passion of yours. What sparked this passion?
So with women in networking, I am not a born natural networker at all, but I care a lot about meaningful connection where people help each other out, especially women. And so when I was asked to present and then eventually lead the local Women in Networking group, it was an opportunity to step up, be visible so that other women could be visible for their businesses. And the philosophy has always been those win-win connections.
Fantastic. Well, without further ado, let us welcome Teresa for Set the Stage for Connection, Networking for Your Confident and Visible Self.
Whoa! 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 Wow, did you feel that? Wow. I think we just went through a time warp. Whew, I'm feeling all tingly. Wow, and you've all changed just a little bit. No, a lot. Wow, you're so confident. You're so visible. You've got clarity. Wow. Do you feel it? It's a year from now. And you are coming back to this conference and you're sharing what's changed for you. What we're going to do is this morning, we heard some really awesome insights about what confidence is really about, what it means for us, and breaking through those barriers that we perceive we have. And we're going to practice stepping into that confident, visible self and what that looks like. And you might remember Heather was saying shift the narrative. And this is our chance to shift the narrative. And then Dr. Cindy, or was it, I can't remember which of the presenters talked about, Dr. Cindy, the words we choose, the words we put out there about ourselves make a huge difference in how we show up. So we are actually going to practice that. And you have a worksheet that is in your folder. I'm going to give you a moment to answer some of those questions before we practice. And while you are doing that, I am going to tell anybody who's watching this on YouTube what is on the worksheet so that you can actually answer these questions yourself. So just a moment and answer the questions and just see what speaks to you. All right, thank you for watching this video. You are totally in the future. Like seriously you are. So in the worksheet, it says to fast forward, imagine you returning to Women Getting Visible a year from now. What has shifted for you? Maybe you've increased confidence, or you are experiencing greater visibility. New opportunities are showing up for you. Your relationships are stronger. You're speaking, you're presenting, your podcast is on fire. Your business is growing because you're more visible. Maybe being more confident means you have better boundaries or an elevated reputation or something else. Think about what that might be and take some notes, and then stay with us because you will also have a chance to practice. you can continue writing, but I would love to invite some of you to share what are you noticing as you are envisioning yourself a year from now? What's shifted? What opportunities are opening up? Who is the woman that you are now a year from now? Who would like to share? Kim.
More known for speaking, more speaking and presentations.
More speaking and presentations. Thanks, Kim. Kimberly.
I can't resist. My presence is very well known because my calendar is fully booked.
Ooh, my presence is very well known because my calendar is booked with, I'll just add, amazing opportunities that you could have never imagined. Anyone else like to share something that they... Yes.
Everyone in this room is in my school community and joins me for coffee hour and aperitif hour Monday through Thursday for free practice on whatever it is they're doing. Everyone.
Wow, we are all part of her future, and we are all hanging out with her and elevating. That's fantastic. I love that we're part of your future. How about one more? Yes.
I found my book.
You found your book.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm inspired by the number of people that have their book written down their stories. People keep asking me, so when are you writing your book? And I keep saying, I don't know what it is. So that's my future vision. I found it. I don't know if I've written it yet, but I found it.
Wow. So in a year from now, she's going to know what her book is. It's going to, just like you talked about, confidence is that inner knowing, like, yep, this is it. This is my book. That's fantastic. So, a lot of times we come to conferences and we learn things and we set goals and we make amazing connections, but we don't necessarily take action or embody that. So this is our chance to embody what we've learned from this morning and practice it and put it into action. So what I would like you to do, and people watching on YouTube will get to do it, you'll get to do it with me virtually. Find someone you haven't met yet and show up as your confident and visible self. And when you show up, even think about how are you standing? Are you standing differently? Are you maybe slowing down how you present? Are you really present and listening? What is it that it is different when you show up? And then ask each other, wow, what's been happening in the past year? And what do you attribute that to? And what actions did you take? So have a conversation, have fun with it, be playful, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So find somebody that you haven't met yet or haven't gotten to know very well yet, and practice for 1 year from now. What's changed?
We're doing this now.
Now. Okay, thanks again for watching, and you might want to put this video on pause, or you can hear the ambient background and pretend you're at this party and you are meeting me or someone else here, or maybe you can envision your ideal client or the ideal types of people you like to work with, and show up. Practice introducing yourself, and what have you implemented from what you've learned through the Women Getting Visible conference and the sessions that you've listened to, and what has shifted. So practice that, and you can practice that other places as well. So maybe with some colleagues, or here's a tip: when you go to your next networking event, if it feels uncomfortable to show up as your future self a year from now, just envision your best self. Be really intentional about how you want to show up, the types of connections you want to make, listening, being a resource, and really having that inner confidence to be fully present. So, all right, practice, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Yeah. We're talking about being bold, and orange is a bold color for me. So I'm expanding my comfort zone just a bit. This is a perfect time to practice entering a new conversation as your future visible and confident self. And here's a tip. An easy way to enter conversation is, hey, I join you. Simple, easy, never, I was going to say very few times, never has anyone ever told me, no, you can't join us. So find someone else. It can be a group of two and just say, may I join you? And introduce yourself.
Okay, so how'd that go? You can practice again. You may want to modify how you've presented yourself, or maybe envision yourself with a different audience or a different type of client or colleague, and how might you introduce yourself differently?
Yes, remember, you are your future self. It's a year from now. A little tip, if you'd like to make it more fun, play it up. So you can say, oh, I saw you just were written up in a major magazine. I saw you just won this award. Wow, it seems like everybody knows you. So the more we can play into that for each other, the more possible we can see ourselves in this new, our new, true, and authentic reality. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, you hear that? It's happening again, but now it's like in reverse. We're going back. Whoa! Whoa! You guys, you're still in the future. Come back. Come back to the here and now.
I think you need to rumble louder.
Hey, we're time traveling, everybody. Whoa! Come back! Come back! We're coming back to the here and now. Wow.
Time travel is so fun.
Time travel is so fun, and you can do it anytime you want. The earth is moving. So what did you notice? What shifted when you did that? Everything? Kimberly, say more.
What is everything?
Everything, like just putting myself into that moment, and I'm such a visual, imaginary person anyway, so I was able to just like live and embody that whole future Kimberly, because I've been working so hard for it. I know that there's no other option. If you keep showing up, that's the future. So I just felt everything in my body, goosebumps, confirmations from other people's stories too.
Thank you, Kimberly. And did you notice when people shared from their future self that you're like, oh yeah, that's who you are. That's who I see. Right? Would anybody else be willing to share something that shifted for them, either as they're envisioning what shifted in the coming year or that shifted in their introduction? And you can come up here if you'd like.
Oh, no, I'll be visible tomorrow. Kimberly was a big part of this. She was in the future. I wasn't. I was here. And she's like, yeah, you're on the New York Times bestseller list. I'm like, no, I think you're thinking of something else. She goes, no, I'm in your future. And I'm like, oh! And it really did shift. Like, I had a cheerleader, in the future, a year from now. Because what I was saying is the process of writing this book and then birthing this book, it's almost like the 1 year from now is murky because the last 2 years have been very clear on what the next steps are. And I'm not used to that. It's a little uncomfortable, but Kimberly nailed it. So I appreciate her saying that. So I'm like, you're not talking about me. I was here anyway. So thank you.
I love it. And we can do that for each other because we see each other's potential so much more clearly than sometimes we see for ourselves. Oh, okay. I'm just getting hand signals. I'd like to invite somebody else to share what shifted for you.
I'll go.
Yes.
So, here.
So thinking about 1 year from now, first I started with all the things that feel very muddled and confused in the present and thought, I have the skills, the knowledge, the experience to clean that all up. And being in this room inspires me to do that much quicker, like quantum leap style, because there's never not an immediate opportunity or a door open for you when you're in rooms like this. So I thought, oh, I've been sort of sitting with the discomfort of the mismatched brand colors and a website that doesn't totally function, because I do such a good job with what I do that I can kind of let that stuff coast. And it's not a part of how I get clients or how I run my business, but it's always in the background running sort of on autopilot. Like all of that stuff that is out there that represents me could be cleaned up, could be slicker, could be more aligned. And so a year from now, me is like, ladies, here's my clean, clear channel of how I run my business and crystal clarity on how you can work with me. I have a fully booked program and I'm speaking on all kinds of stages, helping other women do the same thing.
Thank you. It's really exciting to see all the possibility in this room, and I'm excited to be part of your future. And if you would find it useful to have more of that support with your networking or future self envisioning, I do that through 50 Fun Things and imagining the ideal life that you want. And I don't mean like big things, I mean like day-to-day little things, what you notice. And really that's what it's all about. When we're here today together, when we're networking, every action we take, when we can be intentional, the path becomes clear and the connections become more meaningful, become more present, and life becomes more fulfilling when we're really present and intentional with it. See you in the future.
Did you want a hand mic or did you want to laugh? Thank you, Teresa. Teresa.
Do you want the clicker?
Do you want a hand mic or do you want a laugh? Okay, so stand on the outside of the carpet. You haven't been invited up yet.
I'm just setting that up there real quick.
Oh, here, I'm sorry. Could you hand that to her? Though? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, we have to make this official. Official for the camera. So up next to walk the red carpet to the visibility circle, let's welcome Melinda. The art of being heard by listening first. All right, Amy, it's closed again.
It's for 174.
I didn't hear you. Okay. All right, Amy, here we go. So welcome to the Women Getting Visible talk show. So, what childhood quality do you most recognize in yourself as a leader now? Oh.
There we go. When I was a child, I would read 6 to 7 to 8 books at a time, and I'd have them strewn out on the floor in front of me at like 6 a.m. I would beat my household awake as a kid. And I think what I learned to discover is by all these characters I was reading about and all these different worlds I was immersed in was, at the core of it was curiosity. And so the older I got, it took me a long time to reflect and make that connection. But it was curiosity. It was curiosity, and honestly, it has stemmed so much into my leadership because I find people to be fascinating. And I've heard that in a couple of different presentations. I just genuinely find people to be fascinating. Their backstories, their why, whatever might be the case that draws them to being who they are. And that's really relates back to my childhood, and what I found about characters was interesting was that curiosity. So it's just been a common core theme of my life, and I hope will continue to be in the future.
And I love the curiosity. And I love the curiosity because, again, another person that we connected on LinkedIn had a wonderful conversation, connected immediately because of the curiosity, and that's what I love about these questions, like who are you? And those stories are incredible. And I love the book story. I'm a really avid reader. Absolutely. What is a surprising hobby or interest that you have that people would never guess based on your profession? What is your profession?
My profession is I'm a professor and I'm a business owner, so I get to go around and talk about the soft skills that are actually incredibly hard, which is listening is one of them today. But my hobby is I love to snowboard. I may not look like it, but I can bring some real game to the mountain. Don't ask me to ski.
Oh, I love any snowboarders in the house? Anybody?
My husband is a hardcore snowboarder.
Oh.
I don't, but he does. Yeah.
Yeah, my boys too.
I live in snowboard world though.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And I love being in that world. It's so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I envy it. I envy it.
I tried it once.
It's an unforgettable experience if you've done it before. Your tailbone can live to tell the tale.
All right, well, let's welcome Melinda for this workshop of the art of being heard by listening first.
Thank you. I, for the life of me, can't stand in one spot. I'm sure the students absolutely hate me because I'm just rambling around the room. So I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum today, but I can't make any promises. So just for context on why I'm talking about listening, because this is a skill set that we've had crammed down our throats for our whole entire life. Oddly enough, we're not great at it as adults. We're not great at listening. And I didn't recognize that until after I had exited my career in healthcare. So I started in healthcare right out of my undergrad, very much put into a position that I quite frankly had no business being in. It was high demand, high turnover, very stressful, but I survived it for 10 years. And I say survived it with a reason because it felt like surviving. And I was crawling out of there by the time I left that profession. So about 32, which was a few years ago, I quit.
quit this career that I had built and was a senior living executive. And what drove me nuts about healthcare was there's so many wonderful people in it, but we weren't very good at the people skills. And we were taking care of people. It felt like an oxymoron. And so I made it my mission after I left to try to teach people the soft skills that are not soft. They're really difficult. We're really, really good at training people checklists, but we're not very good at teaching people how to be better humans to one another. And I thought, okay, we're going to have better healthcare outcomes and such if we can treat people better. And so I dove into listening. And I have about an 80-year-old professor that no joke, he's almost 81, that does this with me, and he co-facilitates, and he just melts in the audience. So I'm going to bring my best Dr. Leavenworth with me today. But we talk about listening with people. So I want you to take a moment, and I want you to think of a time when someone truly made you feel heard. And maybe it was recent, and maybe this isn't a question from an ancient time. It's been a long time since you felt heard. But I want you to take a moment. And there are some prompts in the workbook if you'd like to follow along. But if you'd like to just reflect, that's okay too. Does anyone care to share? Does anyone have a moment that stood out to them recently?
Interestingly, it was, I didn't finally feel heard until thank you. Interestingly, I didn't finally feel heard until about 3 years ago when I became a professor of communication. That was the first time that I felt like when I spoke, people not only heard, like I felt heard by them, but they were listening to me and they understood.
So it's one thing to hear, and it's a whole other thing to feel listened to. And isn't it crazy that it took a position of power, essentially, to
Yes.
finally feel that validation?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone else? Go ahead.
I feel listened to when I'm teaching coaches and teaching classes, but I go into a zone, so I don't really hear like the reflective back that they're listening to me or that they're hearing me. But it was actually preparing for this event when I was just kind of brainstorming and spewing out all the things about me. And I don't remember if it was Amy or Christina, but the two of them on the call reflected back to me, and I was like, oh, it was like I heard myself through them, therefore I knew they heard me. And so I got to say it's the preparation for this event itself.
Yeah, that's great. And honestly, that's going to kind of tee off what we talked about today, because it is the ability, when you can hear someone summarize quickly what it was you said, they're engaged. And however simplistic that might feel, there's real power to that, because you actually feel for a moment that someone's really hearing you, not just listening on a light scale. So there's 3 components of compassionate listening. There's 2 or more theoretical, and then I'll show you how this actually works so you can go out of here today and be the best listener possible. So we talk about compassionate listening because our society is begging to feel heard. People are starving for connection. In any industry, personal, professional lives, it doesn't matter. People are absolutely starving for it. And I think that's why rooms like this are so powerful, because we get to find people that are like-minded and want to tackle these big problems around our society that we're dealing with right now. People want to feel that they can be their authentic selves in conversations, because a lot of people can't do that, believe it or not. I'm sure you've all had moments where you can't actually be or say or do what you really want to for various reasons. You just know it's not a space that you might feel listened to. So compassionate listening is caring enough to hear a person's story within their story. That's what compassionate listening is it's actually taking a moment to hear a person's story within their story. And you know, when you've met someone, we've done really a great job of networking the last couple of days, but when you meet someone and you can tell they want to talk to you about a little something more. It's beyond just the, hey, how are you? Or, hey, the weather's nice. You can feel it in that moment that people might want to go a little bit deeper. So many people don't go deeper. They just take it at face value. And I think it was Dr. Cindy that said, you know, the hi, how are you? I'm fine. People leave it at that. We don't ever really scratch the surface beyond that. And so there's this moment where people want their stories to feel heard. People want to feel heard and validated. They want people to ask further questions beyond just, hey, how are you? People want that. And that's what compassionate listening challenges people to do. So as Dr. Paul and I go around and train people, we have found there's 4 main faux pas that we see with people with active listening. Because most people have a pretty decent conceptualization of what active listening is. But there's a lot of people that also think that they do it well, only to find out, oh, I have some room for improvement. So these are the 4 main things that we see that are a struggle for people. So a lot of active listeners will tell us they're good active listeners, but they struggle to not share their perspective. So they will, when someone's talking in a conversation, they will inadvertently jump in with their own perspective or thoughts or feelings before even hearing the other person out. It's almost like they can't help themselves. Some people will dive in and immediately just want to interject in the conversation, and then that shuts down that other person that's trying to talk. And what's so funny, I love when I say these 4 different things, because I see people in the crowd either nod their head or they ashamedly put their head down. This might be a little bit about me. And that there's so many people that accidentally do this. It's very accidental in most cases. So the second one is being defensive. I'm sure you could all think of people right now in your head that just, you're going to get into a conversation with them and there is just going to be a level of defensiveness. Even if it's something simplistic. It doesn't even have to be a heavy topic. But defensiveness is definitely a quick mechanism that people jump to with active listening. The third one, most people do this one really poorly. They compare their own story within a conversation. So rather than, again, hearing the other person out, they immediately want to form that connection and dive in with their own narrative before even letting the other person finish. And so I laugh when I say that one because I have 2 younger sisters, and my middle sister, I call her the Tammy Topper. Hates that phrase, but there's always that person that they just one up your story a little bit more. They always do it. And whether it's intentional or not, it doesn't matter. But that active listening completely shuts down the second that we do that. And then the 4th one, we're not seeking to actually understand someone. Even if we don't agree with what they're saying, at least let's hear them out. And I see this a lot in the workplace too, and I'm sure you've all dealt with this. We're not giving people a chance to actually truly give them a moment to express themselves, even if we think what they're saying is heinous. We just don't create that space for them. And so these are the main four faux pas that we see happening a lot with people. Is there any that you feel like right now you could work on as you see that list? Or any of you accidental offenders? Tony, what are you thinking?
All of them? I think for 3, hearing your own story to theirs would be the one I'm most offending of. Yeah. Probably number 1 too.
And it's common because so many people, especially when it's someone you don't know, you want to bridge that gap of quiet, and you want to fill it because it's awkward. And so people don't want that ick feeling of awkward quiet. And so they will fill it with their own story or immediately try to form a connection with someone because that's what we do. So again, there's a time and a place for doing that. You're not a habitual offender. Maybe you're just a sometimes offender. But I guarantee you'll have a sense of awareness now next time that you go to do it. You might pause for a moment and let the other person finish their thoughts or their narrative before you dive in. So active listening is component number 1 of compassionate listening. Component number 2, and to be honest, discovery learning is probably a great tool that I could have been better at utilizing when I was working in healthcare because I was such an enabler. I would have people walk into my office and I swear I would leave with more work on my plate than they left coming in with. And it contributed to my feelings of burnout and needing to close the chapter on my healthcare book because I was not empowering people to find solutions for themselves. And that's what discovery learning is. It's helping people, it's not spoon feeding them the information. It's giving them a chance to come up with some of the solutions for themselves through open-ended questions. If I can ask the right types of questions and really listen to what they're saying, how can I help empower them to find solutions for themselves? Because that's going to help people grow. And I don't know a single person who doesn't want to grow in some capacity. That's been such a great theme of this conference so far. So component number 2 is discovery learning. So you might be sitting here thinking, okay, this sounds cool. How do we actually do this? Like, what does this look like? So this is the actual methodology, and I'll show you here in a moment. I want you to think of a funnel. So the funnel starts big and it gets small. And that's how conversations will tend to look when we're trying to be a compassionate listener. And this is really a helpful coaching tool as well when you're trying to get someone to take some sense of accountability and you just cannot get them there. So what we do is we ask open-ended questions that are purposeful and they can help people to discover their own solutions. So there is a methodology that we utilize. And this is just a basic shell of what the conversation would look like. Here's the idea acronym. Hey, how are you doing? They're going to say their response. What would you like to dive into and talk about more? Would be the next transition question. Then the person will tell you what that is. Then you can start to see the funnel. It's now starting to narrow. So then I would ask, what options or solutions are you considering? So then it's getting more and more detailed. And then by the time you get to the final step, this is the action step. So you're going to ask them how they would like to act on whatever it is they chose to talk about, how they would go about it. And so there's that sense of empowerment. We're not leaving a conversation with someone open-ended and you leaving with more work yourself. We're empowering them to come up with their own solutions and holding them to some sense of a deadline. And this is not even difficult to do, but sometimes we forget that action step. So people just leave a conversation open-ended, and then you're both left feeling a little inky, like, oh, well, I don't know where to pick up off the next time. And so this is the idea methodology. So here's where I'd like to pause for a moment. I'm happy to show you a demo of what this looks like very, very briefly before I let you try it on your own here in a little bit. Or we can dive right in and I'll let you guys try and dyads. So I'm going to let you guys choose if you want to see it or you want to just jump in and try it. You want to see it?
Definitely.
Do I have a volunteer to do it with me? Okay.
Should I join you in the chair?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for being my guinea pig. So tell me, how's your day going so far?
Well, it's been interesting.
What does interesting look like?
Interesting is a combination of the room is moving, and I'm excited, and I love chairs.
So, what are you excited about most today? Other than the room moving, of course.
I'm excited about the connections that I've made so
Yeah.
far, and the conversations that I wasn't expecting to have.
Yeah. What have those conversations looked like?
They have been me able to ask questions, share a voice, and help bring out curiosity in other people, and that's been really exciting.
Yeah. What does curiosity look like for the crowd of people you've been able to talk with?
What's next? What can I do with the challenge that I'm facing? What the heck can I do with this model you just shared?
So what do you think curiosity looks like in your day-to-day world?
I think it goes from everything to what shoes go with this dress to where do I want to go next? Where do I want to take my business next and why?
Mm-hmm.
Not just because, but what's the why
Yeah.
behind it and what's the no?
Yeah.
Am I
So,
saying no to?
yeah. What does no look like for you at this point in time?
Oh, the thing that doesn't bring joy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So what I've heard so far is the room is spinning. I've heard that you are having great, open-ended, curious conversations with people. But then you're also talking about your own sense of growth and what that direction looks like moving forward.
Yes.
Which one would you like to dive into a little bit more? growth and what sense of growth are you wanting to tackle when you leave this conference?
That's an interesting question. I think it's an interesting question because you come to these conferences as a speaker ready to share what you want to share. But then as you sit in the room and listen to all the other brilliant speakers, you realize, oh, this is something here for me as well.
Yeah.
And what do I want to take out of it?
Yeah.
So I think that's the first step of what the growth is from the pile of notes I've been taking today of what do I want to do next with this? What does this mean? And just synthesizing that for myself.
What sort of process does that look like when you start to synthesize and dive into that? Do you have a process?
I do. It first involves writing, and then it involves sitting with it for a while.
Okay.
And then when I go to sleep, my brain will play with it, and it'll wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning with the answer, which I wish it would stop doing. But there we are.
Yeah. Well, and you had mentioned earlier on that you are thinking about writing a book. What sort of relationship does the notes that you have here play with that goal that you have?
I'm actually not sure yet. But I think that I put that idea into the brain to synthesize. And I know that's part of the process is that I need to let it bounce around in there for a while and see what connections it makes when I'm doing other things. So, TBD.
So right now you are thinking about writing a book and you are thinking about letting your notes synthesize. Which one would you like to dive into a little bit deeper?
Let's go with writing the book because that's the harder one.
Okay. So right now you're wanting to write a book. What are some of your first steps that you want to tackle to do that?
I have to figure out what I'm writing about.
Okay. So what will you do to try to tackle that process? What will you do to try to figure out what you want to write?
I actually was thinking about dinner tonight. I have this opportunity sitting in front of me of people that have written books, have figured out what they wanted to write, and so I'm hoping I can pick their brains over dinner tonight of how they got through that process.
They look like pretty willing participants at this point.
I'm hoping if there's food in front of them that I can get some ideas.
So now that you know that tonight is probably your first step in wanting to tackle this book journey that you're going to be on, what is an action step you feel like you're prepared to take?
So the conversation at dinner would be the first action. And I think before dinner, I want to come up with a couple of questions that actually help frame up what I'm hoping to at least understand from my new friends.
So what I'm hearing is by dinner tonight, you'll have some questions prepared for the audience, and your goal is to be able to pick their brains for your book idea.
Yes, and they're all going to hold me accountable and ask me what questions I have.
That sounds like a great solution. Thank you for your time. Thanks
Thank
for being
you.
my guinea pig.
Thank you.
You guys get to hold her to your action step tonight. So terribly. It's allergy season. And I'm struggling today, so I apologize for that. So, I want to give you a moment to reflect on what you just saw before I ask you to do this. Make sure this is working. Do I need to trade them out? Or do you want me to stand still?
Just stay there and if not, we'll
Okay. Yeah, what did you see from our conversation?
You might need that.
It's another time travel. This one has green on it. That's a good sign. So what did you guys?
Give up the microphone for a minute and just yell.
Yeah. What did you guys see out of our conversation?
I saw her reflecting back to her, acknowledging and validating as you've gone through the conversation. And that really made, there was moments where she says, it's a good question, or it just really made her kind of reflect and go through words.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was fascinating because it demonstrated what you said, which is that we are never heard. So when somebody's actually probing us and listening to us, we realize I have to think about my nobody's ever asked me.
Honestly.
Nobody's ever dug that deep into this conversation with me. And so it just, like, that was a brilliant demonstration on exactly what you suggested is real. And now, you know, like, how often do people probe that deeply and see they're looking at you probably to keep that stuff? But yeah, brilliant.
Wonderful. Yeah, and honestly, this derived from, so Dr. Paul and I, he's a Rogerian-centered therapist, a Rogerian client-centered therapist. And what he got tired of seeing through his 40 years of practice was people come in with the same narrative. They were stuck in their story. There's no sense of action. So every session he would have hear the same stuff or vaguely reminiscent year after year. And it got pretty demoralizing for him. So him and I came up with this curriculum. It's super practical. Anyone can do it. But we just attach the action step to it. So you don't have to be a therapist. This is just basic conversation. But you're right, it is. It's probing in a way that gets to the action step because we want people to have some sense of accountability. I mean, and how helpful can that be to a leader to not have to solve all the problems for their team if we can do this in a few minutes? Yeah.
I like the step where you had to choose between the two
Yeah,
instead of choosing one.
absolutely.
And I had a moment of saying, am I going to choose the easy way, the thing that I already know the answer to, or am I going to choose the one that I don't?
Yeah.
And that was a very powerful moment of like, I'm on camera and I'm about to choose a thing that I had no idea what I wanted to do. Yes, let's do it. But I like
Yeah.
that you gave me that option. There was a feeling of empowerment
Yeah.
when I got to choose the hard thing.
Absolutely. And that's a great point because some people are not ready to choose the hard thing yet. But in this context, you're giving them that option, you're not forcing them into it. And sometimes with coaching, you know, that can feel like that. You can't want it more than the other person. And so you have to figure out through questions if they're going to choose the easy way or the path of more resistance, which good for you, you chose. So I would love to give you a chance to try this. Now, I will caution you do not have to try to get to the A, because the A is not always easy to get to, but that is super awesome if in 3 to 5 minutes you can try to get through and have someone choose some sort of an action step. So what I would ask, whoever, this works best in dyads. It's trickier with 3, but it can be done. So I'm happy to be someone's partner if we need. But what I would ask is one person's going to be the partner, one be the listener. And these are just subjects that you can think about broaching. You don't have to stick with them. Actually, in 3 to 5 minutes, what will happen is you probably won't even be on the same topic. It's amazing what you can talk about in 3 to 5 minutes. Now, the listener here has the real job. You can only ask questions like I did, and they need to be open-ended. And you cannot give advice or try to interrupt or say, hey, same here, me too. And 3 to 5 minutes can either be the longest 3 to 5 minutes of your life or the quickest, depending upon the lens through which you're looking. So I'd love to give you guys a chance to try this if you want to find a partner to do this with, and then we'll switch quickly so the other person can get a chance too.
Yeah, let's find somebody else. Okay, we'll find somebody else. Come on over, ladies. You both want to be the listeners. You both want to be the listeners. Okay, you want to be the listener? Partner. Do you want to listen? I'll sit over here.
Will it let me go back? You'll have to ask him. I'll find it. Okay, begin to wrap up your conversation, and then we'll switch in about 30 seconds. Okay, stop where you're at and go ahead and switch roles, and I'll start your clock over.
I cut you off. Then I gave advice because you said it was over. So I'm like, okay, now I can give advice. I can give an opinion about what I think. You're not breaking the rules. You were outside of the parameters. It's fine. Absolutely. Now you want us to switch? Yes.
Oh my gosh, so my life is chaotic and insane. So we're going to practice, so my focus is there, focus is on speaking, we're trying to go back to very challenging, but I really do believe that your focus goes where your focus is, and you have to self-assess and we are holding so many things. Next step. That's the next step. And it feels like what's the most well, I think it's just it's a great question. I think it's just the frustration that and when you a really good practice, which I know is not my practice, and yet I know I want to shift that into more of a speaking practice. If I focus solely on the speaking practice, so I can't. You can't afford for that to happen. So we need to be apologize. What does that look like? And is it a total shift? That's two questions. Yeah, no, it's great. So I'm going to be on leave, so I have to say practice for a really long time because I can't afford to retire early. I have no money. So it's a long time, but the shift is interesting that you asked that because what I'm trying to work on now is I'm trying to figure out what to do. Or I'm not trying to do this. So my practices and I'll show up and I show patients. Yes, I'm going to be a list. And I don't, but I still want to take care of it. So it's this creativity that I'm getting into now of being able to concierge practice and stay on while still having those processes. And tell me figuring out what it looks like where patients don't feel like they can just not hurt, but gives me the freedom to move and control what I do. Especially in the clinic spaces, it's a perfect example. I go to just a week cleaner. So the weeks worth of lost revenue for great revenue, but not so much. So it's that challenge of having to navigate not being most of the people in my space are actually interested to me for that advice, which is awesome, because they're struggling too, and most people don't give it off sort of and some of them are feeling miserably that they don't have the resources to do. And some were smart enough to step away and share to give them.
You have about 30 seconds to start to head towards the end of your conversation.
Yeah, so I have one more paper book finished for
Okay, let's go ahead and stop where you're at, and we'll have you head back to your seats. Do I need to provide an extension? Very much appears so. By the lack of responses are looking at me. Yeah. Yeah. I have to wake you up after lunch. We're all in a bit of a food coma.
Yes.
Are you guys ready? You about watched me trip. You about watched me trip. How about I meet you guys where you're at? I won't make you get up and move. I will shift and we can pivot here for a moment. Tell me your feedback. How did it feel to, now you've done both roles, you've talked and you've listened. Give me your feedback. Good, bad, or indifferent. How did it feel? I'm hearing the word intense. I'm hearing the word intense.
I'm obsessed. Seriously, I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with this. I would think I'm going to cry. I had no idea that I wasn't already a good listener. And I have students who I advise. And so I think it's my job to tell them what to do and how crazy when I bring this back to school in the fall. So I'm going to stop talking now.
Yeah.
And it was
It could be how awesome your partner is too. That your partner is very powerful, so that could be a huge catalyst for it. But I mean, that's huge what you just said. We don't have to solve problems because we don't have to be a subject matter expert for people either. This is just asking the right types of questions to kind of guide people to the things that oftentimes they already know or have not already considered. So we don't have to solve it for them. It's just a matter of being present and asking, listening. So thank you. Kimberly, were you going to add?
Oh, well, when she was talking about, listeners, on my end, it's again, being heard. That seems to be like the big theme. But I was getting emotional. She was hearing me.
Yeah.
And reflecting back to me, and I was just like, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go there. And then it just like, wow, it's just a little keeps on giving right now.
Yeah.
So I got emotional on the opposite.
Yes.
I'll share. It's challenging for me because my job is actually to give advice. Truly, as a physician, I get paid to give advice all day. I mean, it's my responsibility. You come in with a problem, and I am supposed to help you solve that.
Yeah.
So I have to remember to get out of that space when I'm not being paid to be in that space, which is a really interesting transition for me because I do, and yes, I'm very guilty of, the stories and the advice and all of those things because, again, it's what I do for a living.
Absolutely. And there's a time and a place for this too. We do have some people that will train and leaders will say, sometimes I just have to tell, or sometimes people will just say, please just tell me what to do. And in that case, we say, okay, you can put your mentoring hat on with someone for a moment and say, this is what I would do. It doesn't mean it's right for you, but this is a potential solution. So again, you're not telling them, they're asking your advice, but then you immediately go back to coaching. And we do have a lot of people that are in healthcare professions that say just that. Because how do you toe the line?
Yeah, it's very hard.
It is, absolutely. When was the last time you got to talk about yourself for that period of time? That length of time? Like just truly about yourself? Does anyone remember that?
Only in the therapist's office.
But you're paying that person. I mean, honestly, can anyone remember the last time they talked about themselves consecutively for 3 to 5 minutes?
Interviewed for a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be
Okay.
the closest.
Yeah.
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 But you know, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because I was actually just on a podcast where the interviewer actually took over and shared more information, which actually was very difficult because you were asking me, right, to educate your audience, and then she actually took over, and that was it was actually extremely uncomfortable.
When they hijack the conversation. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was just last week at the event. Not at all. Not at all.
I think I really appreciated this entire exercise and the formula that you shared because when you were sharing it, I'm like, well, I'm guilty of all of them to some degree. But the E was where I was like, wow, I really need to not prescribe the solution.
Yeah.
And we had a great session. This was super helpful. I said, I really want to be the listener so I can practice it right away. It was hard.
It is.
It's hard not to just tell her how I would fix it.
Absolutely.
So I had to be like, oh, a couple of times I literally had to stop the question.
Yes.
You know,
Close your own mouth.
It also helped me to realize that because I am a paid service provider,
Sure.
where coaching is a huge part of what I do and what they need, but I have a limited amount of time with my clients,
Yes.
and very much they need me to solve the problem for them. So there's 50% of the time they need growth and they need to find the solution themselves. 50% of the time they paid me to solve it
Yeah.
and do it for them. And it's this hybrid, and I think that the reason I say it out loud is because I'm sure everyone can relate. I think that can be better explained in the way I share my services. So thank you.
Yeah,
Because actually,
absolutely.
it's not just coaching, it's not just service providing. It's a hybrid. And it's helpful to know that some of the time if you want to chat this out and brainstorm, we can do that. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
But if you've got limited time and we need it done by Tuesday, let's go. You know, like I think I need to do better.
And they could define that for you, what they need.
And make it to choose.
Yeah.
It's not up to me.
Yeah,
That's
you don't
the
have to
part.
make that decision.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The reality of what I hear most from people is either this was super challenging because it was awkward. You guys are the least awkward crew. I think I could give an honest hour to this and we'd still be in the thick of it. But you guys are pretty extraordinary, so I don't always see it done this well, to be honest. And also, it can take a really long time to get to the A for some people. So you guys may be able to accomplish it in a short period of time. So awesome if you guys did that. It doesn't take, most leaders don't have 45 minutes for a session to go talk with someone. They don't have that. I mean, we're a group of extraordinary women that might do some coaching on the side, so this is different. We have that space. Most leaders in the industry world don't have this type of time. So how can we be the most impactful with short periods of time like this to change people's lives and help them change for their own growth? So my final ask is what's one listening practice you can implement the second you leave this conference tomorrow, or even today for that matter? What's something you feel like you can implement right away?
Not saying same here. That would be the hardest thing for me.
Yeah.
And I was sharing that with Kimberly. As a relator, I'm a big fan of Gallup Strength Finders, Clifton Strengths, and relators in my top 5. So it's my nature to be like, oh, I find what I have in common, and I pull that thread.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. And then it's because I want you to feel like, oh, there's something in common that with Tony, and I just need to. That's going to be real hard for me, but I love the challenge of it.
There's a definite time and a place for that, but because you're all rather intuitive, you'll know when this is a better fit. And so oftentimes people I tell them to do this in your personal and your professional life because it's too difficult to just do it one way and then think you're not going to go home and need the practice too. So it becomes an adoption of lifestyle choice at this point to be a good listener. And so great analysis. Anything else? Any other takeaways you want to Be a better listener out in your week. You chuckled. Do I want to know?
No, I think my listening, I look where I go, it's a very unique group of people at the campground and stuff when I'm in the RV. And sometimes when they're talking, like I just completely go to outer space or somewhere else because I'm like, I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to do this. So I think just being present at the moment and just, acknowledging just so they're heard, just for them, not just because I don't want to hear about whatever weird things that they're talking about, but just to reflect back to them that I am listening. Even if the content makes me sound.
The content might make you cringe,
Yes.
but you may have just gifted them the best 3 minutes of their whole week.
Absolutely.
So, which is absolutely worth it. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I accidentally broke your PowerPoint.
Thank you all for being willing and participating.
Thank you, Melinda.
Oh, did it work? Oh, it just. I have a couple more slides. We're good. Okay. Oh, no.
All right, it is time for our next activity. All right, you're wondering, aren't you? This activity, wonderfully enough, kind of goes with what Melinda was talking about in the giving and receiving of conversation and communication. So this is called the Golden Rope. You are our beta test for the Golden Rope. If you put it around your neck, it's an honor cord.
Okay.
So you just hold on to this. All right, the first fun thing that we're going to do together is we're going to tie a knot in our rope together with one hand. Her one hand, my one hand. We're going to figure this out, right?
So just in the ones that have ropes, you gotta find a partner a little bit later. But right now, we're gonna see if we can do this. We've never practiced.
Together, that's right. There we go.
There you go.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to start with is one of the hardest things for us to say, and sometimes one of the hardest things for us to receive. The word no. Yes. You know what I'm talking about. So literally, Amy is going to tell me no, and I'm going to receive it with a breath in and out. No. I accept your no. And I'm going to do the same back. No.
I receive your no.
Simple.
But also very strangely awkward.
Right? Because what is it like to look at somebody else in the eye and say no? So front row, you have the rope. You have to find somebody in the back rows to tie your rope together, and then we'll be switching around a bit. So find somebody.
And then we still have.
Belinda.
I mean, do you want to prompt them?
So make sure you try it. Each person will say it, and then
It's a nautical
switch.
knot. Not part of you, nautical. So now we're saying that?
Yes. Accept it works perfect.
Remember to look in the person's eyes
Yes.
when you say no.
And then try it again. Yep, do it one more time for both of you. That'd be great. And then Christina and I will show you the next activity. So what's the other thing that's the most hard thing that you have to receive? It's kind of the listening, right?
Great. Said, I'm going to be better about saying no without attaching shame or guilt to it.
Yes.
Because it usually has a heavy attachment for me, a lot of shame.
Yes, and that's what it is. It's just a simple no. We don't know at the end why somebody said no, but we attach things to it. And you just accept it, let it go, right? And the other thing that we do quite often is compliments, right?
Project. It felt mean. It felt like looking at her in her eyes, and she just seemed so innocent. And just looking at her and nipping a no, it just felt like I was being mean. And yeah, I think it's because there really wasn't any reason for me to say no to her. So it wasn't a real boundary, so it felt like I was being cruel.
But you said an important word right there, boundary.
Boundary. Yeah. Yeah.
Literally met Jackie seconds before we said no to each other. And when she said no to me, immediately I felt like a deep rejection and almost started to cry instantly. It was so quick. And then it was just, we started laughing because it's like there's nothing between us. And yet hearing no is like, where did that go? Well, who told me no sometime like in a different lifetime?
Yes.
That just conjured. So that was really interesting.
And exactly, that is the word. How many times that we are from childhood told no. And how we can change it to, it's my boundary. And it's okay to say no. So yes, just a little example, but yes, and now let's go for the positive. The exception, I kind of talk right now. The accepting, because, go ahead, Amy.
Well, what's one of the things I mean, I'm a Midwesterner. Getting a compliment was like the hardest thing. I actually took no easier than a compliment. I felt awkward. I wanted to squirm. I wanted to actually like turn around and leave. Like it was so uncomfortable to have a compliment to me that I'd be like, oh no, or I'd shove it away, right? I had to learn to accept it. And I know a lot of people have the same issue as me. Well, I wasn't alone. I started watching people and I'm like, okay, this is a thing that we all struggle with. And it's a beautiful thing when you do it right because both people feel better. So we'll demonstrate that for you as well. And then you get to practice as well. Hard timing here. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is give a compliment and like something that you see or that's really easy. So I love the color white on you. It just brings out everything about you and makes you shine.
Thank you. Thank you. I love your smile. It just brightens up my day.
Thank you. And so the difference is what I used to do is would have been like, oh no, it's okay. Or I'd compliment her smile right back. That was my go-to, to give it right back to her. And what I learned is when you do that, it's kind of like saying reject. I'm rejecting it and then throwing it back at you. So therefore, I'm not receiving it. So it's one of the things I've taken 3 years to learn this skill. So I would love for each of you guys to try this first off, and then we'll try a different one.
Oh yeah. Exactly. All right. All right, how does that feel? Just even on a simple compliment back and forth to each other. All right, so those of you who had the rope to begin with, you are going to surrender it to the person that you joined with. Yes, you are passing that golden rope on. All right, and yes, you have to unknot it. You keep that with you always. So go ahead and the new valedictorians, go find your ropeless people. Go ahead and rope somebody. Rope somebody in.
Rope somebody else.
Yes. So you have to surrender and move along. Okay, Cindy, you gotta let go. Cindy, you gotta let go. Cindy, you gotta let go.
We're watching you. Tony and Cindy were watching you.
We decided we're the bad kids that don't be involved.
That's one parent. It's okay.
Yes, we'll work
Yeah.
with you, Kim.
We
You get to work
love
with
you.
us.
All right, so
We'll demonstrate and then we'll work.
the next thing is another type of compliment. Something that you may have learned about the other person in the room today, or last night, or in a conversation that you might have, or something that you just feel like you are compelled to tell a person. You know how there's those people, you walk into the room and you're like, I just need to say this thing and I don't know why? If you're feeling that with that person, that's what I want you to say as well. So,
Oh yeah, not.
yes, go ahead and nod. You're with your new partner, nod.
They got their nuts a
All
lot
right.
faster.
All right, so another prompt that you might want
Guys, I made it go.
Oh yeah, go for it.
It's already gone. Nice. Okay.
Do that in the mic.
All right, ladies. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We do not want to stop your conversations. You can keep them going. Yes. If you want to stay roped together with your golden umbilical cords, you are more than welcome to. If you enjoyed this, give you a hand raise if you enjoyed this exercise. Yay. Okay. Except for the bad kids over there, because they're such no, they're having their own conversations. Great. All right, so we're actually going to take a break now for the next 15 minutes. So at 1:45, we will resume. Thank you, and then you can bring your cords right up to us. Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you just leave it ajar. Don't close it. If you're watching and this is still on, this is a signature copyrighted activity. Thank you for watching it. We'll resume shortly.